In today's video, I'm going to show you how I cut my bats, or at least the setup I have to do so. So if you're new to this channel, I make baseball bats here in my garage. I have a good time doing it, and I film them just to try and teach others online how they can do it as well, because there's limited information online. So if you're new to making bats and you're anything like me, you go out, you buy a lathe, you buy some wood, you figure out kind of the plans on how you're going to make it, and you carve the bat. Then you realize it is fairly heavy. So you're like, oh gosh, what do I do? What do the big brands do? They cup the end of their bats. So all a cup is it is a way to take mass out of the barrel on the end. It makes it lighter, makes your bat feel a little more balanced, and it's a good way to shave off about an ounce of wood. But someone actually DM'd me on TikTok asking how I cut my bats. So if you are not following me on my TikTok, go to my TikTok and give me a follow. I post clips on there. The guy that messaged me, his name is Coach Ryan. Shout out to Coach Ryan. He has asked me a handful of questions on how I make my bats, and I figured it'd just be a little bit easier to make this video instead of trying to explain it all via DMs. So let's get right into how I cup my bats. Cupping baseball bats, I would say, is the most difficult part, or at least it is the hardest thing to get into. It's easy once you get the setup, but making the setup is probably the most difficult part of making a bat. So what you need is you need something to hold the bat firm in place. That way it does not move while you're doing it. Two, you need something to actually cup the bat. I would say for most people, if you have access to it or you have the funds and the means to do it, you should use a drill press. It is way better than what I do. What I do is probably fairly dangerous, and you probably shouldn't do it. But I'm going to show you just how I do it anyway, and then you should use what I do with a drill press instead of a router like I use. Okay, so we're over by the lathe, and this is my cupping jig. So all I did was I mashed together a few different styles that I saw online from other people that kind of posted their cupping jigs online. There's one really good video on Facebook, and other than that, there's not really a good video on cupping bats. So like I mentioned earlier, you should use a drill press instead of a router if you have one. But for me, it was much easier to get my hands on a router. This router has a collet, I believe a 1/2 inch collet. So routers come in 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch collets, and you are going to probably need a 1/2 inch collet if you're going to use a router. A drill press should make sure the chuck can fit the bit you need, but it's a lot easier to get your hands on that kind of stuff. So how I use this is quite simple. I bought a few 2x4s here. This is all held together by screws, by the way, so you don't need any glue or anything. All I did was I took a pine board, I cut a top and bottom, 2x4s, and I cut them all the same length, screwed 2 of them together, and then screwed them into the top and bottom of these pine boards. So these pine boards, it doesn't really matter the size as long as you know where center is on the top board. Also, this hole on the top where the bit goes through this plank of wood, I put a chamfer on the inside of this hole. That way it centers the bat every single time. That way I don't have to worry about it being off-centered. If there was not a chamfer there, you would not be able to center the bat every single time quite as easily. So all I did was I took a hole saw and cut a hole through the center up here, and then I took a 45-degree router bit and I just kind of put a chamfer on the inside on the bottom of this board, and it works perfect. On the bottom here, we use a hydraulic bottle press, what I think is the easiest for an amateur maker like myself, and really for anyone to do it at home. The big companies, they use a 3-claw chuck to hold their bats in place and then use a giant drill press to get that cup out. But it's just unbelievably expensive to get that, and this is very cheap. So I think this is the best way to do it. So all you do to put the bat in there is you take a little block like this. This is just a 2x4. And I cut out a little hole in the middle. You can just use a Forstner bit for that, for the knob to go into. So this is a bat I've already done. It's already cupped, as you can see, but all you do is you put the block on there on top of the jack. You put the knob in there. Kind of hard to do one-handed. And then you just jack it up until it's in the middle of that pine board. And then once it's in there like that, then it's in there. It's not going anywhere. So then you can use your router or ideally your drill press to go down, drill that hole. So this is a router on a plunge base. And all I did was I drilled and screwed this plunge base into this pine in the exact center of it. Then all I had to do was just plunge straight down, and I get in the middle every single time. So there's also a depth stop, so I can mark how deep I want to go into the bat, which is really nice. The downside to using a router and not a drill press is the speed of this is so fast, and it doesn't have the same amount of torque that you are going to burn out the top of this wood every single time. It does not matter how fast you go, how slow you go, you will burn the wood on the end. But it is cost efficient, but it's probably a little dangerous as well. But as you can see, it goes down. I can drill that, can cup that bat. One thing I could probably do is I could switch from this round nose bit. This is a cone, I think it's called a dome bit. This is a big one. This is 1.5 inches, I believe, maybe 1 3/4 inches. Okay, I just measured. It's 1 3/4 inches. It is a big bit. I bought it off of Amazon. You can't find them anywhere locally here that I've found. The alternative to using this kind of bit would be to use a Forstner bit, just like Sam bats do. They're the only other bat company that I know of that use Forstner bits instead of these dome bits. The Forstner bit is pretty much the same thing. Stop that bat from falling. Except instead of being a dome, it will be just a straight hole down into the bat. It will not be coned, or why do I keep saying coned? It will not be round. It'll be straight down. But it's very simple. All I did was I just made sure there was enough clearance between the top of that block and here to get the bat in there, but that there wasn't so much room that I could not jack it up with the length that this can extend to. So just for the video, I measured these arms out to 45 1/4. And the jack has plenty of room to get in there and do its thing. The one issue with the way I did it and the way of doing it like this is it is very difficult to do on youth bats. But the workaround to that is to alter this block. Just get a bigger block, and then you can do the same exact thing with a youth bat. So I know I missed a lot on this video, but if you have any questions, feel free to reach out or put them in the comments, and I'd be happy to answer them. Cupping baseball bats is very difficult, so if you have any questions, please reach out. Please do, because I am happy to help. If you are a bat maker yourself and you know a better way to do this, please let me know, because although this does work, I know that it is a little bit sketchy having a router spinning fast as heck going down on the end grain of a wood bat. Thank you for watching this video. I hope that you found some value in this. I know that I'm bouncing all over the place a little bit. This was kind of a rush to get this one out. So if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe for more bat making tips and videos, and we'll catch you in the next one.